Welcome back to the Untouchaballs podcast. Caden and Evan here bringing you another MLB episode. We got a special one for you guys today as we're doing our trade deadline kind of preview prediction. We got a list here, some names we're going to go through, say first whether or not we actually do think this player will get moved, and then second, what team we think would be the best fit or who is the most likely in our eyes to see them get end up there. First off, Dwyer, how are we doing today?
I am doing tremendous, Caden. It's rainy here in Chicago, but outside of that, it's been a good day.
And we'll take that. And yeah, we're just, as day of recording this, we're a week away from the trade deadline. So you're ready for a lot more moves to be made. I think a lot of people have said it, and a lot of people probably agree. We've already seen the biggest trade of the deadline, I'd assume, with Rafi Devers. But doesn't mean there still couldn't be some big guys going. As first guy on our list here, Dwyer, is Eugenio Suarez. And do you want to start? Because I mean, I think we both agree that he's definitely getting traded.
I think it's not a question whether or not he's going to get traded, which have a year as far as, man. I mean, I didn't know at the All-Star break he's over 30 bombs already. Yeah. That was very shocking for me to see.
Yeah. I'll never, you were hating on him in the preseason a little bit at the start of the year.
Yeah, I didn't believe it. You know, honestly, I'm not going to lie. I feel like he's a guy I wouldn't want to trade for. I just feel like he's like, the environment where he's in helps him a lot. Being in Arizona, the elevation, I know it's good for righty hitters. But with that said, though, you got to take a chance of some of these teams. Which also, White Sox legend, who's our all-star, hitting him in the hand in the all-star game, almost just ruining. Yeah, that would have been brutal. But he's all right. I think he hit a bomb already since the second half started. He's definitely going to be gone. Where he goes is going to be interesting because I could definitely see the Diamondbacks making a package with a Gallen or Kelly or something like that with including Suarez. I'm going to just take the normal, what I think the most likely outcome is. I think he's just a Yankee. I think they need a third baseman. I think that's their primary target this deadline. They've kind of been reeling. Obviously the Jays have held first place. So I think they add another bat, and I think the Yankees are the most likely team in my eyes to go get him.
Yeah, I mean, I also think it'll probably be a shoo-in. We see good old Gino get traded here at the deadline, but I do think the Yankees are one of the most likely. Also, though, the Tigers, I think, could be a really good fit, bring him back there to where his career started. And then, I mean, they have deep farm systems. You don't got to give up a lot of your prized prospects or anything like that if you're the Tigers. D-backs would be able to get something back, and that fills kind of a power need in that Tigers lineup where, yeah, you got Kerry Carpenter, Riley Green. You still don't have a lot of really power in that lineup. Get someone like Gino over at third, I think could be a really good fit for them over there.
Yeah.
I think the Yankees could be more likely, but I want to see him with the Tigers, so that's my pick.
I'm with you. I'm definitely with you.
The next name on this list is interesting, Dwyer. It's Stephen Kwan.
I feel like the Guardians are going to be pretty stagnant. I feel like they usually are when it comes to trading, at least in mid-season like that. I don't think he's going to be getting moved. I think ESPN has him at 20% chance to get traded. Which how do you make a percent chance like that? I don't know how you come up with that, but I don't think he's going to get traded. He just kind of fits. He's only 27. He's not that old. So I don't think that happens. I think it would have to take a big package to really go get him. If a team were to go get him, I could see a possible a Padres. Obviously, I think they're going to be looking for an outfielder. Maybe the Reds be kind of another underrated one since he's not getting paid a lot of money. But I don't think he moves.
No, I mean, two years of control still left. One of the best defensive left fielders in the game, has a good bat. I don't know why. I mean, I know it's been a down year for the Cleveland, really, but I don't know why you'd move off Kwan. I think you'd have to, if you're the Cleveland, you'd have to get a pretty good offer to even really consider it in my eyes. And I just hold on to him. I mean, you got you're some good pieces in that lineup already. Why not keep your leadoff guy who's going to go hit you 320 with 10, 15 bombs and play Gold Glove level defense? I don't see why Kwan might really be in the conversations for them to even move, really.
Yeah, I feel if anything that'd be something they figure out in the off season. Not right now.
Hmm. Now the next one I think is definitely more likely another young outfielder, this time with Jaron Duran.
Yeah. Um, I feel like that whole Red Sox, like they're gonna have to make a big move here just to clear up, positions for everybody. And I feel like Duran is obviously the most likely scenario who gets moved, just because. I mean, you're not gonna move Abreu. You're not gonna obviously move Anthony. Obviously, you look at how Rafael has been playing. You're like, you can't move him. Like I mean, heck, he's on a 2020 pace right now. Um, and not to say Durant can't be like that, but control wise, a little older than those guys, he's the most likely guy to go. Um, Obviously, we said with San Diego is probably the most likely landing spot. Um, I've heard like I know Christian Campbell. There's like, oh, what if he gets moved in a huge deal, bringing another pitcher, and I'd like be able to keep Durant. I don't think that's going to happen, but a buddy of mine told me that. But it's tough, man. I don't know. Like I can see it more being likely, but I almost think that they keep him. I'm gonna say if they do trade him, it's gonna be to San Diego. But if they don't, if he doesn't go there, I think they keep him.
That's really what I'm thinking as well, because I mean, Padres really need help in left field. AJ Preller known to be doing crazy trades year in, year out. That if Duran does get moved, I think really that only landing spot would be the Pods. And also, I mean, the Red Sox have been playing really good ball as of late, trying to work themselves back up to, I mean, they're in the really in the playoff race right now. So it might also be them like thinking they'd rather try to add pieces than get
Yeah,
rid of them, even though Duran's kind of losing some of that spot in the lineup. Some they've been platooning him against lefties. Like it's just not the same nine WAR player we saw last year for sure.
mm,
Even still, I think exactly like you're saying, if it's not to the Padres though, I don't really see a world where Jaron Duran ends up getting moved.
I'm with you on that.
Now the most, I guess, intriguing one since the start of the year because he's been one of the worst pitchers in baseball, was the 2022 Cy Young winner, and still has 3 years of control in Sandy Alcantara.
Yeah, weird one, very weird one. Because how bad he's been this year, you're like, oh man, like would I even want to trade him if I'm the Marlins? Which he seemed like he was going to be a shoe in to get traded at the end of the year just because of how like upside coming off TJ, obviously a former Cy Young candidate, not that 2 3 years back. Um, he's only like 29 too, but he's been very bad, not very good. He's had some moments, but nothing that's really stuck over a long period of time. Um, I do still think he gets traded, but I don't think he's going to go to a contender necessarily this year, like a Cubs or something like that, or an Astros. I could see him landing in Baltimore this year. Down year for Baltimore, obviously. They need pitching. Obviously, they have some farm. They got some guys in the farm, and I don't think he's going to like cost the house to go get him, just because he has tanked his value a little bit. And sure, the control he's going to cost something, but it isn't going to be your top prospect or anything like that. Um, but I feel like they buy him on the low and then try and come back next year and compete. That's Baltimore's my sneaky pick for Sandy.
That's interesting. 'Cause I hadn't really thought about that, but that is something I could actually see happening come deadline. We see him end up in Baltimore. They have a bunch, obviously, prospects they could give up, have good options. They need pitching bad. That could be interesting. Maybe, yeah. That I haven't thought of, but I'm still on your side where I do think we're still going to see Sandy get traded. I know it's not exactly the way the Marlins were hoping. I think they were hoping he'd go back to form, even the 2023 form, where he wasn't as good as the second year, but still good. Could have got a much bigger package. I think that maybe could deter them some, where they think maybe just hold him out till next year and still have a couple years of control left. But I think this still is when the Marlins probably will end up moving him. Baltimore is interesting, but I'm still thinking the Cubs. I think they're looking to add something to that rotation, get it behind some of the already established guys in this rotation. If you can get someone like Sandy, maybe get him out of that Miami environment, unlock something, get something to click. Because like you said, we've seen moments out of him this year where he's looked good and he's looked kind of back to form. if you can get that on a more consistent basis, I think like contending teams will think they'll be able to, and I think the Cubs would be the best fit for that.
Makes sense. I think it definitely for sure.
Um,
He just seems like one of those players too that like there's not like a lot like his velos, everything's still there for him. Nothing's changed. It's like the winning environment. I think could be a big thing for him. Just like getting him out of that losing environment. Which Marlins aren't like the worst team in baseball, but they're not a winning environment at all. It's like I feel like if you add him to a team like the Cubs like that could like he could just come back and just be the man.
yep. What about Seth Lugo now, Dwyer? Because the Royals have been very underperforming this year.
Yeah, I mean, what is he? 35, 36? He's up there in age. You don't know how much longer he's going to be there. I could see him being kind of like that. Obviously, you're not trading him. He's not going to be the ace, kind of the back of the end. Like, if he's like your 4 or 5 star, you'd be really happy with that.
He was second in Cy Young voting last year.
True. But, yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But still, I don't feel like he's not going to cost you those votes, I could see like a Toronto or something. I think they need another pitcher. I feel like that could be like a sneaky little place for him to go. Because like you said, the Royals is just not. I think Reagan's not really living up to what he's going to be with all the injuries and all that. I feel like that really kind of killed their hopes. Because I mean, instead Bubic was the man this year so far.
Yeah.
If you had Reagan's with that, I think they would have been winning a lot more games. Which they've been losing. And I think like also Witt's had a good year, but he hasn't had a good year in his standards, like where everyone thought he's going to be the MVP this year. He's been good, but yeah.
So where do you think he's got? You said Toronto? You think that's the
Toronto's my pick.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he will get traded. It was great last year. He's having another good year. Royals try to get something back for him, like you said, mid-30s now. Still looking good. Throws like 12 different pitches, it seems like. And Toronto, I think, could be interesting to throw in the back end of the rotation. I also think maybe, though, the Astros, because they still need some maybe more proven pitching come postseason, come and down the stretch when they're fighting for the division. Some of that stuff, you get them on the Astros back up, Fromber, Hunter Brown, you have them as your 3. I think that could be a really good fit there as well, if not. At Toronto, I could see as well either one of those two, but I'm going to go with Houston.
Okay.
Now, Johan Duran, the hardest throwing reliever in baseball. I'll keep us going here, Dwyer. I don't know, the Twins have been really weird this year. Started awful, went on a 12, 13 game win streak, then played not that great. They're just kind of there. It's not been a great season for them. Duran is one of the better relievers in baseball. 2 more years of control after this year, so he's going to be a big package if someone is going to trade for him. But I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the Dodgers go try to shore up their bullpen with Duran. The Mets could be interesting if Cohen wants to make a move for that. I don't know. It's tough to say if I think he's going to get traded or not because, I mean, one of the best relievers in baseball, still 2 years of control. You're going to have to offer a lot for a reliever of that caliber. But it's also, I think the Twins are going to be kind of shopping him around, seeing what the actual offers are out there. So if something catches their eyes, it'll go. And those teams with the best offers, I think, could be Dodgers, Mets. Maybe you see like Phillies or something get in there. But I think if he does go, I think the Dodgers is most likely where he'll end up.
I like that. I think the next guy on the list is who I'm going to talk more about with the Dodgers.
Yeah, yep.
But I think Duran's. Like you said, I don't think he's going to end up getting traded. I feel like he's kind of like Joe Ryan. Like people are like, oh, they're going to listen, but I don't think the Twins are going to move, like be big time sellers yet. Again, injuries again kind of killed their season once again. But the talent's there. Obviously, they have some close prospects. Like I think they'll try at least. I think we'll be talking about them being either big sellers next year if they're in the same similar spot rather than this year.
Also, though, how does Rocco Baldelli still have his job?
Really.
Years and years of underperforming.
Yeah, I know. It's like you think I mean, yeah, they're just like, oh, well, it's not his fault. All these guys are getting injured, but I don't know, man. They're weird. 5 games back out of the wild card. I mean, it's a lot of teams. It doesn't look great, but the Twins are weird, man. They're a really weird team.
They're so weird.
They get very hot and very cold.
Yeah, I mean, we can go into your next reliever though, and the stage leader from last year in Emmanuel Clase.
So Class A, I think, is a Dodger. I do think that. It's a prediction. I'll even give you the package.
Okay.
So high A, they have like 3 top 50 prospects in that outfield between DePaula, Hope, and the other guy. I forget this last guy's name. But I don't think I think they're going to end up moving Eduardo Quintero for him. That new that low A kid. Kid's been a stud, but I think that's going to end up being the package, like at least the main piece of the package to go get Class A. Which also, stand out. Good job by the Dodgers, man. Like, you go sign studs, you get all these guys, but they also develop. Like the fact they have this stud on low A, but they can't bring him up because they have 3 top 50 prospects in high A already. Like, that's just, like, Dodgers are just doing it right. But anyways, yes, I think Class A going to the Dodgers just makes a ton of sense. I mean, they said it's less likely that he's going to get traded, but I feel like if you offer one of those prospects, especially Quintero, for Class A, I feel like the Guardians are going to have to take that deal because, again, you're looking for upside talent, and there's the upside you're looking for if you're going to trade Class A. So I do think Class A ends up a Dodger.
Okay, so I mean, in a way, I think we're kind of on the same page, thinking if one of these 2 high-profile AL Central relievers get moved, it's going to end up most likely being with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Plus or Duran.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this next one I think we can just kind of skim over.
Yeah.
I don't see Chris Bubich getting traded. No. I think it's as simple as that.
Yeah, he ain't getting. Yeah, Royals need him. I mean, next year, him and Reagan's, they should look to dominate next year.
Yeah. Now another reliever, Cade Smith. That's interesting. I think if you move Class A, though, you can't move Cade Smith.
Agreed.
If you don't move Class A, then it becomes different. But he's also, it's his second year in the league.
Mm-hmm.
You're giving up a good bit probably to get Cade Smith. 4 years of control has been awesome. Last year's been great as well this year. One of the best relievers this year. You're giving up a package. I think Class A is more likely to get moved than Cade Smith. I think I'll just put it that way.
Class A is going to bring in more, where Cade Smith, you're going to bring in a lot too, but not as much. Maybe a Philadelphia, but again, I don't think that he's going to get moved. It kind of depends.
Now, someone I could see maybe going to, I mean, this next one's kind of the same. If, like, it's Griffin Jackson, it's kind of like if Johan Duran gets moved, you probably just slide Griffin Jackson to your closer role. If Duran doesn't get moved, maybe you just ship out Jax. Both could get you good packages. Jax, obviously, not as much, but he's still a very, very good reliever. He's one of and some nasty stuff. Like, he's just a really good reliever that I definitely think teams will be calling, but just like the Guardians, I think it'll just depend on if one of those. I don't think either one of those teams will trade both their guys. It's one or the other.
I think Jax is more likely than Duran to go, though. Just the age being 30.
I do agree. Yeah.
I think.
I think
I think out of all 4 of them, I think Duran's the least likely to get traded. And then.
Okay.
Honestly, I'd put probably Jax. Jax most likely, honestly. I mean, yeah, dominant, but again, I think the age, they're just going to be like, all right, well, let's just. Yeah, because his stats have been awesome again. Best expected FIB. I've only relievers in baseball. Like, I think he's, kind of sell high, at the deadline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now the next one is good old Mitch Keller with the Pirates.
This one, I do think that you're going to move him, and I think he's going to go to Toronto. I think Toronto's going to get that 3-4 starter, kind of like I said with Lugo, or I think Mitch Keller is the most likely scenario here. Because, they have all these young prospects coming up, obviously. Chandler, who's the other Harrington's kind of close
Harrington.
here. Obviously, they just drafted Seth Hernandez. So they got a bunch of pitching talent coming up. Mitch Keller, he's on a reasonable deal. 3 years of control left. I feel like he's kind of like that. He kind of fits as a Blue Jay. He's kind of like that Chris Bassett, kind of just getting paid like $18 to $22 million a year. He's going to be good, but he's not going to be great, but he's not going to be bad. And I think he's the most like. I think Toronto's where he lands.
Yeah, I do think Mitch Keller also ends up getting moved at the deadline, but I think it goes to a different AL East team. I think the Red Sox obviously need pitching. If they think they could actually make the playoffs this year, they're going to go out and make a move. I don't think they try to get a big name, maybe try to sell for Sandy. I think they go someone like Mitch Keller, kind of a middle of the rotation guy. You're not going to give up too much for him. He can slot in there behind Crochet, Bayo, or whatever. You have him as your three, and it's not the flashiest addition, but just like you said, he's just a good, like, he's going to be good for you. He's not going to be great, not going to be bad, just around a league average pitcher, and that's what the Red Sox need right now is some around league average pitching.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, now we got the two. We'll lump these two together, the two Diamondbacks boys. What do you think about Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly, Dwyer?
See, I almost wanted to save. You know what? Screw it. I think Merrill Kelly goes on his own deal. I do think he's like gonna get traded. I'll get to him. I can see Gallen and Suarez getting traded together as a package.
Okay.
A team that I'm kind of thinking of is the Mariners. I could see them trying to go in and try screw it, let's try and get avoid this 500 ball middle of the pack. I think I could see them being buyers, just trying to go for it some. I mean, you got your rotation's healthy. You just got Kirby back. You're thinking all right, Woo's been the man. Logan Gilbert's healthy. Let's go get our bat. Let's go get the biggest bat we can right now. Bring in another good pitcher and go for it. Also, another team I want to look out for Suarez, the Brewers. Watch out for the Brewers, man. They we were talking about them in the preseason. I'm like, dude, they got rid of their best hitter, Adames. They're done, and here they are, neck and neck with the Cubs. I can see them bringing in a bat like Suarez too. I feel like they did that with Moustakas before the deadline. I feel like that's a team to watch out. But I do think that I'm going to say the Mariners go get a package deal for Gallen and Suarez. That's my prediction.
That's interesting. Because if they were packaged together, that is a very good landing spot for them to end up with.
A lot on the farm too.
It's just that they can move, and you'd be able to do that. Gallen's interesting because he still has some. He's just been weird this year. He's walking people at a very high rate, and it's just not what you really expect out of someone like. I mean, 2023 Cy Young finalist. He's gone downhill ever since then. But I don't think people thought he'd be like this. And he's been pitching better as of late. Seattle could be interesting. This also, I think, could be where Toronto goes in and gets their arm. If it's not someone like a Mitch Keller, like I was saying, Gallen, kind of around that same type of caliber, maybe a little more upside, based on what we saw a couple years ago. You then can slot him in, like you're kind of saying, around that Chris Bassett part of the rotation, just kind of sure up a team that's leading the AL East right now. And then Merrill Kelly, he seems, in my eyes, he's more likely to get traded than someone like Zach Gallen. I think out of the two, if you had to pick one or the other, I'd say Merrill Kelly over Zach Gallen. And I also just think Merrill Kelly's been better than Zach Gallen, and contending teams will look at maybe trying to get him more, if they're in win now mode this year. So,
yeah, age
Houston
too. Age.
Yeah, age. Houston could be interesting with Merrill Kelly. Get him there.
This is the thing with Houston, though. They have a lot of arms coming back, right? I mean, they have Javier coming back. Is Luis Garcia going to be back? That
I don't know.
I don't know about him. I know Javier's already on his rehab start, so it'll be interesting how many. But I could definitely see them, adding, kind of like you said, they're kind of like the Blue Jays, bringing in that, 3-4 starter.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly, I'm gonna say, I think he ends up in Chicago. I think he's gonna be a Chicago that's like I don't know. I think they go. I don't think the Chicago ends up making a big move at the deadline. I think that's like Kelly's their guy that they go get.
And I mean, that'd be a good fit for that team.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would definitely make it good. And hey, now our third straight Diamondback, fourth one of the episode. We got Josh Naylor, first baseman, on an expiring deal.
Again, like I think, I don't think he gets moved. I don't think he gets moved. Like I think expiring deal. I feel like they're just gonna try and figure it out in the off season or something. I don't know, something about Naylor. There's not like a lot of spots he could go. Like I mean, okay, like maybe a Seattle. Maybe instead of Suarez, they go get Naylor and Gallen or Naylor and Kelly. Maybe they do something like that. So I can definitely see that, but I don't like they have like Boston on here. I don't think Boston goes out and buys him. I don't see San Francisco doing that. I don't see Texas being buyers. I feel like his market's the first baseman market's kind of weird right now, and I think more likely than not he's just going to be one of those guys who are just going to let expire.
Yeah, I think you're probably right there. Like Seattle, I think's the big one where it's like they have a glaring hole at first base. I mean, we saw Rowdy Tellez playing there for a while, and they need they need some offense there. That's the one team where it's like, yeah, I could see that, but like you're saying, there's not a lot of market for first baseman on an expiring deal. It could just be, yeah, the D-backs hold on to him, let him finish out the season, and maybe not try to re-sign him come end of the season. I mean,
Mm. Yeah,
another a guy who I definitely think is getting traded, Ryan O'Hearn.
yeah, yeah. I think pretty sure he's gone. He's kind of in that same thing with Suarez. Like it's pretty clear cut. He's gonna be gone. Um, Landing spots, I think you could see like in the Padres or could be up there for a DH. I mean, anybody's really looking for a good DH bat. You'd think.
Yeah.
They have San Francisco. I don't think San Francisco gets them. Yeah,
Seattle, I
Padres.
think.
Seattle too. Seattle's another one, man.
Like
Seattle
Seattle,
better be buyers, man.
you
They
don't have
better
to
be.
give much for Ryan O'Hearn, and you need power at first base. Go give up your number 30 prospect in the system for Ryan O'Hearn to see if you can try to make the playoffs this year. Like, I think that would be a good fit right there. As much as I wouldn't like that for
They've been
fantasy.
so like, remember how stagnant we were like saying they were the losers of the off season because they weren't doing
Yeah.
anything, and like to their benefit, it's been all right. It hasn't been a bad year, from not doing much. But like this is the time, man. Like if you don't do anything this deadline again, you're like, okay, well now you just pushed it over the limit. I mean, pitching, you like having that like you feel safe, like oh yeah, my rotation's gonna be locked for a while, but like it's so tough in pitching. Like all it takes, TJ, you're out for a year. That's a whole year you're gone. Like you gotta strike while the iron's hot or whatever the saying goes. Um, get an O'Hearn, get a Naylor, get something with that lineup.
Yeah. You got to do something there. You can't just stand pat and expect things to change.
Yeah.
How about though good old Marcelo Zuna from the Braves?
Yeah. Ozuna's definitely gone. It's just funny
Yeah.
that we're saying all these guys will definitely be gone when most of them probably won't even be gone, But like
Ozuna, though,
Ozuna's got to be gone. I mean, expiring deal, same kind of scenario. It's gonna be interesting. Like I bet you the Braves, like whether they keep Sean Murphy or not, but that could just like clear up that DH spot for him and Baldwin. So I think they could run that. But I think Ozuna, like I said the Padres with O'Hearn. I think that's the most likely scenario is San Diego. His numbers haven't been like what he was the year before, but still really, really good.
yeah.
So, yeah, anybody's looking for a DH, man. Detroit,
Yeah.
gonna go get him.
I think the Padres, like you're saying, is a great fit. I think that's probably the most likely landing spot for him. Also, I think he's definitely gone as well because I'm a Marcelo Zuna owner in fantasy, and he's ever since the All-Star break, he's not playing every day because they're DHing either Sean Murphy or Drake Baldwin because they want to keep both them in the lineup. So Ozuna, it seems like they're just kind of done with him, ready to move on. He's going to get traded. I think, yeah, AJ Preller in San Diego make a move to try to get him, bring him in, and see if that can kind of spark that offense. So,
Mm.
Oh, this is interesting. I didn't even think about this one. Taj Bradley with the Rays.
Yeah, you saw he got optioned to AAA.
Yeah, I did.
I don't know. I don't know if that helps him more like makes him more likely to get traded or less likely. I don't know. Um, that makes it really tough, honestly. I mean, I don't. He's another weird one. Where it's like, who's gonna want him right now? If you're a contender, like you don't. He didn't look. He's so inconsistent. You know, he looked
Yeah.
awesome one start, brutal the next. I don't think he gets traded. Frank, he's a guy like another like a guy maybe you bring in the off season, kind of like a Luzardo or something. Like I don't think he's gonna end up getting moved mid year. It just doesn't make sense for him to get moved right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's controlled through the 2029 season. So that right there already ups a price tag for someone who, like you said, he's shown flashes, had some good starts, but he's also had some really bad starts, just got optioned back down to AAA. Like, he hasn't shown some of that maybe hype he had when he was coming up through the minor leagues. That I don't think it's worth it for a contending team to move pieces for someone like Taj Bradley. I don't think it helps them that much right now.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't think kind of in the same boat would be someone like Edward Cabrera, who they have here from the Marlins. It's another young guy who, I mean, he's not bad. He's not great. Still has a couple years of control. So it's like, do you really want to give up some pieces for someone like Edward Cabrera to go fill in your 4 or 5 spot in your rotation?
I'm with you. Same exact thing. He's not getting moved.
What about Felix Bautista, who just hit the IL today
That don't help.
as we're
That does
recording
not
this?
help his. That does not help your case. I think that kind of kills that. Um, again, the Dodgers could be a team if they were to go after someone like that, but I don't think the IL kind of I think kills that for him. I mean, who's going to want to trade for a hurt reliever? I mean, it depends
Exactly.
how
Like,
long.
yeah.
Do you know what the injury is?
They said 15 day. He's getting an MRI tomorrow, I believe. Hold on.
Yeah, see what.
Also, on my fantasy team, so
Oh,
yeah, 15-day with right shoulder discomfort.
like that's not.
Undergo MRI
Yeah,
on Friday to determine.
yeah. I think that kills it.
Yeah, I think that news that came out a couple hours ago just means we probably won't be seeing Felix get moved come deadline.
Yeah, makes our job easier.
David Bednar, though, I definitely think gets moved. And I think
Yeah,
the Tigers would be an awesome spot for Bednar. I mean, get a true closer in the back end of that bullpen, someone who can come in and shut down games. Bednar's looking not like he did this, like he's found his form again, not like we saw at the start of this year or kind of second half of last year, back to like that 2021 through 2023 David Bednar, where he was one of the better closers in the game. And he's kind of back up to that. The Tigers go out and get a true closer for your bullpen, like really lock down that back end.
I like that. I think that'd be nice. That'd be a good fit for him. Cause yeah, I feel like he's definitely got to be a guy that's gonna be like he has to come in as your closer. You know, like sometimes you see those guys trying to go to setup roles and it's not the same kind of thing. So I feel like yeah, that job's cleared up for him to be the closer there. So I like that.
What about Seti Mullins?
Weird one. Definitely another weird one. I think Philadelphia. I do like they have him as the number one. Like they need outfield help. 30 years old, clear up some spots for some younger guys. If you're the Orioles, I think they're kind of Philadelphia is kind of in desperate need of an outfielder, and I feel like Mullins that just makes sense. You know, he's not going to be that expensive. Um, so yeah,
Yeah, no, I do think Philadelphia as well. Also, I saw this like mock trade or whatever. It was a couple weeks ago that I think would have been perfect if not for some recent news where it was Felix Bautista and Cedric Mullins to the Phillies for Mick Abel.
oh, okay. Huh.
That would have been like, but now it's like I don't know if
Interesting.
you want to give
No.
up one of your for a hurt reliever who you don't know exactly what shoulder discomfort means as of yet.
Was Duran the only other outfielder we mentioned? Man, it's a very.
Um,
Oh wait, no,
well, we
it's
haven't
somebody else
just
too.
uh,
Because it's a very. That's a
Duran,
very like. There's not a lot of outfielders in the market, just in general.
uh,
Okay.
Quan was
Well,
the
Quan.
only other outfielder
Yeah,
we
Quan. I
mentioned.
don't. Yeah, I feel like that's very unlikely. There's just not even. Yeah, like there's not a lot of Mullins out there type players.
No.
So I think that makes him more likely to get traded, if anything.
Well, this is your new New York Yankees starting third baseman.
Yeah.
About 4 years too late in Ryan McMahon.
Yeah.
Rockies, Dick Monfort, Jeff Bridich. It's time. Get rid of Ryan McMahon. I love Ryan McMahon. You should have traded him back in 2022 to the Yankees, or in 2023 to the Yankees, or last year to the Yankees. This is the year he finally becomes a Yankee, and Ryan McMahon's finally traded. About 3 years too late.
Yeah. I mean, you think they're gonna swing and miss on Suarez, and that's just their fallback, McMahon? Yeah,
I do.
I'm with that. I'm with it. Like you said, maybe Detroit if they don't, like one or the other doesn't get the other one.
Yeah.
But yeah, he hasn't been good this year, right?
No, no, he's been fine. Normal McMahon
Yeah,
stuff, playing a good
doesn't
glove.
help. Doesn't help
Not
the
bad.
Rockies much.
Eh, he's just doing his normal thing. He'd
Yeah,
be much more appreciated on a good team.
fair. That's fair.
Now let's get to some more outfielders, though, Dwyer. Luis Robert Jr.
Weird one
Does he get
again.
moved?
That's a weird one. I do think he gets moved, but I think it's kind of team dependent. Um, because again, obviously we've seen the highs with him, like 38 bombs that one year, it was like in MVP voting, and then it's just been a hard fall off ever since then. Injuries and all that. He's stealing bases a lot this year,
Yeah.
24 stolen bases, so I guess he's doing something. Kind of killing his value, which gotta love as a White Sox fan, bring in less. Um, I don't think he goes to the winning. I think like a Reds makes sense for right now for him. I feel like the Reds are in a weird spot where like there's not a lot of teams like them. They're kind of like on the up and coming, but like not this year, but next year I think. Just because the division's pretty good right now ahead of them. But I feel like a Robert's the kind of guy you kind of bring in. Something like under the radar I think, but I could see a Mets or something like that. But I like they have a 50% chance he gets traded. Like that's honestly probably the best percent I've seen.
Yeah.
It's really a coin flip in my opinion.
It does seem like a true coin flip. I like what you're saying with the Reds. This also just seems like a guy that the Padres would go out and get. Like,
Yeah, they don't get
that,
rid.
see if they can kind of unlock, back 2023, Robert, where you said 38 bombs, where he was one of the better outfielders in baseball. And yeah, a 201, 289, 342 slash line this year. Not ideal at all. But he also seems like a guy where get him out of one of the worst environments in baseball, and you can see his game start to improve and just him start looking more like a couple years ago.
Yeah, he's a White Sox fan. You can speak for many of them. None of them like Robert, just because he just doesn't look like he cares. He's never looked like he's cared. Get him out of here. We don't want him. Take him off our hands. At least Robert, you are someone else's problem.
Yeah. We'll go through a couple more here for you guys, probably about five more. And next, though, is another outfielder in Taylor Ward of the Angels.
Weird one. Another weird one. He's hitting 220, but on pace for like 120 RBIs or something. Kind of crazy. I don't feel like the Angels trade him. I feel like the Angels are gonna kind of like hold pat again. They're not gonna sell out.
They're still hovering around 500. That
Yeah,
they'll convince themselves they have a chance.
yeah, exactly. So I don't think Ward moves.
What about Nolan Arenado?
Ugh, no, I don't think he moves either. I think the Cardinals are just gonna hold him. Maybe the Yanks. Yeah, but again, I feel like he's less likely. I think he's like they don't get McMahon or they don't get
Suarez, Arenado.
I don't know what they do. I don't think Nato. If they didn't trade him at the beginning of the season, why would they trade him now? He's kind of doing what people expected he'd. He's kind of been all right. So I don't think it's moved.
Yeah, it seems like since they didn't move him in the offseason, since he has a no trade clause, Looks like we'll probably just see him stick it out in St. Louis for the rest of the season. Maybe
Oh, a
come
lot of
off
money.
season we
A lot of
actually
money.
see him get
You know.
moved. Yeah, like it might just wait till next off season before we see him really possibly get moved somewhere. What about his teammate in Ryan Helsley?
Helsley, I could see him getting moved. Um, Bad year, but again, I feel like a change of scenery could be good for him. I think a Toronto would be interesting. I think adding another arm to that pen would be interesting. Kind of under the radar. He's not really talked about. People kind of forgot about him after how good he was last year. Um, so I do think, yeah, he does get moved.
I agree. I do think he'll get moved. Toronto, I think, could be interesting. Also, this seems like maybe the guy the Phillies will try to go and get,
Mm.
bolster up their bullpen, get someone like Helsley, throw him in the back end, expiring deals, so you wouldn't have to give up too much. They have, I mean, the stuff to give away as well. That you get Helsley, you could throw him back there as your closer role, replace what you lost, and like Jeff Hoffman and stuff. You know, obviously like Alvarado, all that. So I think Helsley to Philly, I think would be a good move. But also, what you're saying with Toronto could also be interesting.
Mm.
What about Adolis Garcia, who's just been bad this year?
Um,
He's been
keeping it
bad.
keeping it real. Um, Honestly, I do like that they have like if he goes anywhere. I don't think he does get moved, but if he does get moved, like I can see Philadelphia. I can see him fitting that atmosphere, kind of. Like I feel like
Yeah.
a Philly's chemistry. Like he kind of seems like one of those rah rah guys. But if not, I think the Rangers, we're really wrong about the Rangers this year. We really were. Um,
Just a little bit.
yeah. I don't know. There's a name I'll bring up now with the Rangers. We'll talk about it a little bit. Do you think there's any chance DeGrom gets moved?
I don't.
No.
Like, I think it would take a, even though he's injury concerns, 37 years old, he looks back to looking like Jacob DeGrom. That I think it's going to take a very hefty package to try to get him.
So you think the Rangers just hold and try again next year?
I do.
Yeah.
I really think the Rangers are probably going to be just mainly statting pat. Don't really see it. Garcia getting
Imagine,
moved.
imagine DeGrom got
That'd
moved.
be,
That'd be crazy.
oh, it would be. Now to a different caliber of pitcher, I guess. What about Reed Detmers? Do you think he gets moved?
No, I don't think he gets moved. If anything, maybe if he's an off-season guy that gets moved. But again, it's the Angels. They'll keep him around unless they like move him in a big deal or something. I don't think he gets moved.
No, I think kind of like Taylor Ward, like I was saying, I think the Angels are gonna convince themselves they're still kind of in it. So they're mainly gonna hold pat. And I mean, Detmers hasn't looked bad for them since he became a reliever after they kicked him out of the starting lineup. So they might just decide to hold on to him in the bullpen. I think they're just kind of incapable of making the right moves over there in Anaheim. So I think Ward and Detmers are just gonna be chilling there the rest of the season.
Yeah. Also, yeah, like Ron Washington out for the year, man. That's a big loss for him.
Yeah. Now, the last name we're going to go over here, Dwyer, is Luis Severino, who signed a 3-year, I think it's like $67 million contract this offseason with the Sacramento A's.
Um, yeah, I think that the money you owe him over the next couple of years is gonna keep him from getting traded right now. I think he's 100% getting traded, but I think it's gonna be in the off season because I think that money you owe him, like no one's gonna want that back end starter for 47 million. Um, I like they had Toronto on there, the Cubs, maybe Baltimore, that makes sense, but I don't think he gets moved. No one's gonna want him.
Yeah, I mean, I can maybe see the Mets just because, like, he's been awful when he's having to pitch at home, and that's in Sacramento. He hasn't been too bad on the road. I think a reunion with the Mets would definitely be a possibility if they're willing to take on just a gross overpay for Luis Severino. Like if they're willing to like take that on out, you wouldn't have to give up much to get him. That more likely, I think you're right. We see wait till the off season. But I do think we see, if he does get moved, I think it'll be the Mets. Well, you got anything else for us today, Dwyer?
I don't, kid. I don't. I can't wait.
Oh,
It's gonna be a fun deadline. I feel like a lot of movement.
yeah, should be good. Yeah, we'll make sure to get you guys going with all the moves we see, kind of like what me and Mex did after the NBA deadline when we went through all those moves, broke it down for you guys. Me and Dwyer will do the same thing come MLB trade deadline next week to give you everything that's going on. Well, if you guys did enjoy today's episode, make sure to leave a like down below, turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload. Comment down below as well. Where do you think these players are going to get moved? Is there any players we didn't mention that you think will end up getting moved? Where do you think some of these bigger names end up do that we said no? Also, share this with your friends, family, strangers, neighbors, anything like that, and follow us on all our social medias. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next time.